I can now speak to the Palestinian ambassador to the UK, Husam Zomlot. Good morning, Mr. Zomlot. Thank you for joining us again. Do you welcome today's ceasefire?
It's a big sigh of relief. We've been waiting for it 15 months, but it is indeed 15 months too late, and 200,000 people maimed and killed too late. More than 70% of Gaza's structures too late. I dread the day I go back to Gaza, because I am from Gaza, to see the magnitude of the destruction and how do we begin the journey of grief, healing, attending to our wounds and wounded, burying our dead, and then, of course, attending to the unprecedented, unmatched humanitarian crisis in recent human history. And therefore, of course, it's a huge sigh of relief. However, you've seen, the world has seen the last 3 hours, how it was a very shaky start. No goodwill in the part of Netanyahu and Israel. Already they killed more than 8, injuring many, only because of a delay and technical issues. We are very cautious, praying and hoping that this will hold, the ceasefire will be permanent, that Israel will withdraw from Gaza, that our people will be able to go back to whatever left, that we will be quick in providing them with makeshift homes, hospitals, schools. Our children have not gone to schools for the 2nd year. So, of course, we are hopeful.
How optimistic are you that the aid and help, I mean, the first things are water and food, will start to flow?
Well, the Palestinian government has been preparing for that, and they have plans. Our representatives have been in Cairo in the last 3 days to coordinate the free access of aid through Rafah crossing, and with a focus on the vital sectors. How do we immediately begin the provision of electricity, water, energy, etc.? So this is absolutely the top priority in our heads right now.
You blame the Israelis, I think, for some of the obstacles and so on. But
should you?
Well, I haven't been to Gaza, so I can't say anything authoritative.
Why?
Because no journalists are allowed, and we can go through that.
Who did not allow the journalists?
Indeed.
Trevor, this is important.
Indeed.
Don't dodge it.
Okay.
Who blocked it? I was following your coverage. You have your crews and all these small Israeli towns covering live their families. We have 10,000 Palestinian hostages.
No.
Most of them are without charge or trial. Okay, you couldn't go to Gaza because of the Israeli blockage. You couldn't also go to the West Bank today to interview families of Palestinian hostages, children, women, what have you. This is the issue, Trevor. I'm coming back, so let's not brush it.
I don't want to get into a meta discussion.
There is an issue here.
I don't want to get into a meta discussion about media. Nobody wants to get into Gaza more than the Sky News team, and we have actually been talking to people whose relatives are in Gaza and so on. But I just wanted to ask you, you would accept that some part of the problem about getting aid and so on into to the people of Gaza has been the activities of armed gangs within Gaza, and that presumably is part of the situation, and it's not just one-sided.
No, I don't accept that. I think the main issue of the humanitarian assistance, and by the way, this is not just aid, it's also trade. I mean, people in Gaza wanted to buy their own products. Yeah. So this is not just humanitarian assistance. The issue is Israel. And it's not just me saying this, it's the British government. It's the US administration that sent a letter to Israel that should you not allow for aid and trade in a free access, we will cut all our military support to you. Remember that letter? By the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State.
Well, I think there are different views about what that text meant.
And unfortunately, if you really want to pinpoint international failure, US failure, it's that letter.
All right. If the ceasefire holds, somebody's going to have to run Gaza. Will that someone have to include Hamas?
That's a Palestinian conversation for the time.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
That's a Palestinian conversation. In the future, there will be elections, and let the Palestinian people decide. In the meantime, there is the state of Palestine, recognized by the vast majority of the world. We have a seat in the UN. There is the government of the State of Palestine. That is the PLO, by the way, the Palestine Liberation Organization. I represent the PLO here. The PLO is the umbrella political organization representing all Palestinians. The jurisdiction...
And I'm asking you, is Hamas going to sit under that umbrella?
It doesn't. For the time being, it doesn't. The only entity that has jurisdiction over the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem is the PLO and the State of Palestine. Now, here's the question. Here's the question, Trevor.
If I may ask the question, if you say Hamas is not under the PLO umbrella, the fact of the matter is, as far as we know, Hamas is the only operating force in Gaza. How does the PLO, how does Fatah, how do you deal with the fact that somebody, an organisation that is not within your group, is actually running Gaza?
I think, now that we have reached, hopefully, a ceasefire that will hold, the conversation will begin concurrently about the PLO and the Palestinian government responsibility. It is our responsibility to provide for our people in Gaza and to represent our people and to represent the unity of our people, the unity of our land, that is the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza, and the unity of our political system. But it was Netanyahu throughout the negotiations of the ceasefire who had one veto, one red line. The red line, you know it, Trevor. No return of the Palestinian government to Gaza. You know why? Because the return of us to Gaza would mean an opportunity for peace, because then the PLO platform is very clear. It is the unity of the West Bank and Gaza, and Netanyahu doesn't want that. He prefers what you saw today than offering us and the Israeli people and the region a different direction.
Mr. Zomlot, thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're most welcome.